The Natasha Simona Sequence. Tonight's special guest is a retired lieutenant commander from the U.S. Navy and United Airlines captain, Christopher Saffold.
Oh, Chris. Hi, Chris.
Well, good evening to you.
Chris, welcome to the Natasha Simona Sequence.
Thank you. Thank you. It's good to be here. That's a funny look you got on your face right now. I don't know how to interpret that.
It suddenly got hot. I need to find my fan.
It is a little warm. I got the fan out, but shout out to the room. Shout out to the room.
Thank you, Chris. I'm happy that you're here. This is quite I've never felt awkward on my show as yet. So this is a first for me.
Well, considering the friendship and the friends, and it's kind of funny, but I appreciate you getting me here. But I have to say, I got a friend who's been trying to interview me for a while, and if he sees this, I'm gonna get roasted. So if it happens,
I'll take the blame. I'll take the blame. So I will take the blame.
Please take some of that off of
Chris,
me. Take
Chris,
some of the heat, please.
Chris, you look amazing. You look amazing.
Well, appreciate
it. It was really interesting to read your bio because we're friends in real life, and so there are things, obviously the details of your history in the Navy are things in which I didn't know directly, maybe through conversation, but you are now retired. How long in totality did you serve in the Navy?
I served a total of 20 years. I did 4 years straight out of high school. I enlisted, like you go to the recruiting office and you raise your right hand and you say, swear after me. So I did that. And I did that for 4 years. I was an air traffic controller, actually. So, the radar, control tower, stuff like that. I did that for a few years, and then I went and got the ROTC scholarship, 4-year full ride scholarship to the University of Memphis. And then I finished that. Then I got commissioned as an officer, and I went back into the Navy. And then I served 16 more years, and then I retired in 2018. So I did 4, break for college, then went back.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt you for one moment. If you can do me a favor and move this way in the direction of my hand. I don't know what way that is, but just move this way.
Sure.
No, your body.
That?
No, turn the camera back so we can see all that good stuff behind you. And you just move like your body. And can you possibly come closer? I want to see. The people want to see more.
Sure.
Okay, that's good. I think that's good. How's that, everybody? They'll let me know.
It's a little close. But we can work.
It works. It works. So thank you for your
good thing I shaved.
Chris. This.
Yeah, I didn't have a makeup team, right? So I didn't. This is what you get. This is live. This is all you get.
So anyhow, it's my show. It's my show. God, I hope there's no program directors in here right now. This is my friend. So you serve for the country, and I definitely want to say thank you. I know a lot of people in here were saying thank you for your service. The recruit, when the recruiting officers come around to the school, it looks all fun. They present it like a fun package. You get all this money and things like that. There had to be more incentive. Was there anybody in your family that served the military that was aspirational to you as a youth?
Sure. My grandfather, I had 2 grandfathers who served. My mother's father and my mother had 2 fathers, with a remarriage. So they both served, one in the Army and one in the Air Force. But they were out by the time I was, in my early years. And then I had an uncle who also served in the Army. So I had a little bit of influence.
Okay. Okay. And you being a pilot now, because that's what you were in the Navy, right?
I was.
Did you is that something you wanted to do your whole life? Like, I want to be a pilot.
Yeah, so let me take a quick pause. I want to get this camera right because I'm seeing the comments. I mean,
Oh,
if I angle it
perfect.
down,
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
move
yeah.
to the right,
Angle
but
it down.
my
Angle it
right is not
down.
right.
Yep. Well, yep, right
Right here.
there.
Is
Right.
that good?
That's perfect.
Okay. Okay, good. I just
Yeah.
want to make sure I can be seen. So the background, is obviously secondary. So, yeah, I knew I wanted to be a pilot when I was like 6, 7 years old. You're a little kid, little boys, they run around with like, toy trucks, toy trains, and toy airplanes and stuff like that. But we lived in apartments when I was a kid, and we lived directly across the street from the airport. So, my dad had this big van, looked like one of the old school kidnap vans
Yes.
with the little bubble window in the back. So he used to put me on top of the van with a blanket, and we would watch in a nook by the airport. They're still there, by the way, in Memphis International, and we would watch the planes land and take off like all night. And so that was engraved in my mental. Like that was all I knew. And then growing up, just playing little simulators, watching TV, reading books, building model airplanes, and stuff like that. I got a real story about
Uh-huh.
how I really got there. I know we have a constrained time limit, but there is a specific person who got me to do exactly what I did, and it's actually pretty particular. But you just let me know. I can tell that story. We can
I mean,
sidebar or whatever.
you should definitely utilize the
I'll
moment
give it
how
a
you got
couple
there.
minutes. I'll give it a couple minutes. So the person that was influential in my entire getting me into the Navy was a gentleman by the name of Drew Brown. Okay, this is
Okay.
actually a really funny story. So Drew Brown was a lieutenant commander in the United States Navy, and by the way, it's lieutenant commander United States Navy, retired. To just clear that up. Anyway, so he was a lieutenant commander in the United States Navy. He flew the A6 Intruder, but his whole thing was we went and did motivational speeches around schools and same kind of thing, except for he was big scale. He wrote a book and did all this stuff, and he was on Field Donahue, if you remember, because we somewhere near the anyway. So he's on Field Donahue. So he came to my high school and did a presentation, blew it out the water. I was like gone. I was like, yo, that was the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. Had a big screen, whatever. He came in with the flight suit, had the shades on. I was like, who is this dude? Like, I'm done. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta be him. Turns out, I went to B. Dalton bookstores and I saw he wrote a book. So I looked in the back of the book. I see the family. I'm like, oh, nice family. Yo, his daughter goes to my high school.
Oh wow.
Daughter, Taryn Brown, University of Texas, lawyer in New York City. I'm sorry, New Orleans now. Just a shout out to Taryn and her family and her dad, Drew Brown. But yeah. So I was like, I have to meet this man. Her daughter goes to my high school. So this is funny. It turns out that one of my friends in high school dated her for like a hot second,
Uh,
and I was like, yo, dude, you gotta like take me with you. He's like, why do you want to go to my girlfriend's house? I was like, it has nothing to do with you or her. I have to meet her dad. So
yeah.
I go over there, meet them. He's floored. Instantly, we started talking about stuff. He gave me the blueprint how to get to the Navy to become an airline, become a pilot. And it was just a great relationship, mentorship at that point. Except I did the exact opposite. I listened to the Navy. That was not what I was supposed to do, and he was very disappointed about that because it's a very specific path that you have to take. And I did the complete opposite, and he was like, "I can't believe you did that." We talked about this, and
Yeah.
so just to talk about what I said earlier about how I went to the Navy for 4 years. I got out, went to college, and then I went back in. So the process was to go to college first, go through the
Okay.
scholarship or go to a ROTC. However I went through, I got to go to ROTC, I got to become an officer, then I go to flight school, and the rest is history. So I did the complete opposite. He was not very happy until he learned that I had gotten a scholarship and went to school, and he was like, thank God, that's what I was trying to get you to do. So sidebar, that's what I try to tell kids. If you can go to college, you want to be a pilot in the military, that's what you have to do. That's what you should do. So anyway, that's my story, how I got here. Long story, short story long.
No, I love that. But you clearly,
Yeah.
just growing up, your love for airplanes, a little bit of daredevil in you, being fearless, being up there in the sky. Now, fast forward through life, you did. How do you count how many tours you do in the Navy? Is that like I
Well,
know the different.
a tour, a tour is kind of like a term that you would use when you do a rotation. I would say to another what we call theaters around the world. Like if you go to Central Command, which is what we call not short for CENTCOM, Central Command, which houses the Middle East, North Africa, and areas over there. PACOM, Pacific Command, is areas in the Pacific area, Japan, Philippines, and Guam, Hawaii, all the Pacific stuff, and so forth. Eurocom, Northcom, you see the convention there. So when you do a tour of duty, like you went to Iraq or Afghanistan, you go there, you serve 6-8 months or whatever the time is, you go back home, then you come back. That's kind of like a tour. When you serve in the military and you either sign up for an enlistment or a contract as an officer, that's an enlistment. And then you go and you do 4 years or whatever your contract tells you do, and you either get out or you re-sign, re-enlist, or sign on the contract. So kind of two different terms. But so a tour is serving in a location for operational reasons.
So when you would go overseas, like in areas of, I guess, high need, were you ever nervous?
I went. I see a friend down there, Candy Fox, but this is funny. So I went to Iraq for 6 months, actually. I went to Iraq for 6 months, and I volunteered to go there. And it was at the tail end of the tail end of the Operation Iraqi Freedom. And so I worked with a joint tour. I worked with 2 Army colonels and a Navy admiral, some Marine guys, some Air Force guys, some Army guys, of course. And so we were responsible for like all the personnel and equipment coming into Iraq. So when President Obama at the time signed that the war was over and that we would stop all offensive activity, they did the drawdown. So my office was responsible for limiting the amount of people and equipment coming into the country because we were drawing down the forces. So we couldn't let that many people in. So it was surreal. The base got rocketed a couple of times. Be playing spades outside and you see a rocket fly over the base and you just like, that just happened. Like that really just happened. And one time I was FaceTiming my girlfriend at the time, and they tell you if you hear the alarm sound, don't run. You just lay down flat. But I knew that if the rocket hit my living quarters, it was over. I just so happened to have a bunker right outside. So we were FaceTiming. It was our routine, It was nighttime where I was. It was daytime where I was. So I would FaceTime her, or at the time, whatever it was, Skype. So she would watch me sleep, and then I would get up, and she'd be, at work, or she'd be at home, and vice versa for the time frame. But I was about to go to bed. She was at work. We were talking. The alarm sounded, and I got up and I ran out. No questions asked. Rockets came in. The anti-rocket system got the missiles, or got the rockets, took care of that, and they sounded the alarm. It was over. I got back up, came back in, and she was bawling. Because she heard she heard the whole thing, and then heard me run out and didn't see anything, for minutes. And so I came back in. I was like, I gotta go home, y'all, because this is not the business. A young dude from South Memphis, this ain't where I'm supposed to be. But everything obviously worked out, and it was very humbling to be there. I'm glad I made it back. All the people I know, made it back. So that was my experience. Flying wise, I never did anything that was ultra dangerous flying wise. I did fly around the world. I've been to several countries around the world. I've been to some places that were not so nice. I've been to some places that were absolutely beautiful flying the Navy. So I flew 2 different types of aircraft. I flew cargo aircraft, and I flew P-3 Orions, which is a more operational aircraft. We look for enemy submarines. We do search and rescues. The aircraft was very capable of doing a lot of missions. And so I've got a couple of good things I did with that aircraft. I did a live search and rescue where we rescued a merchant vessel that capsized off the coast of Guam. I think it was like circa 2007. So it capsized off the coast of Guam. When we did a search and rescue, and we found the people in the water, and we kicked the raft out the plane and rescued like 10 people. So that was cool. We also
that's insane.
My crew, shout out to that crew too, CAT 12, for those who know what that is. So my combat crew was on station in the South China Sea, and we actually got information for a particular, I would say, adversary submarines information, and then we started that and did some information. That's about all I can really say about that. So yeah, so I've done some cool stuff.
So let me ask you this: when you retired, do you because I know a few people who have retired from the different agencies, and they have like massive PTSD. Do
PTSD.
they say? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, PTSD is a relative term. Personally, what happens to you, and there are many things that can trigger that or cause that. I mean, I've had some things like the Iraq situation for me. I wouldn't necessarily call it PTSD, but there was a reacclimation period when I came back home. I was away from friends and family for 6 months, and so to be isolated in that environment, to reacclimate to society, there was a little bit of transition. Now, there were nights where I couldn't sleep, and I didn't want to be around anybody because I was not used to being around my friends, and so the crowding around me just was a little bit of anxiety, but not a official diagnosis of PTSD, because that's an official diagnosis. Let's be clear. So I wasn't, I didn't have any official PTSD, but just for being in Iraq for 6 months and enduring certain things and seeing certain things, coming back home and trying to come back with friends and family was a transitional period. It wasn't exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. And so you're gearing up to retire. At what point in your naval journey did you start thinking of life after retirement and what you wanted to do to bring you current as a captain for United Airlines?
So let's say about my 12-year mark, I have one of my mentors. I got several mentors. Just let everybody have many mentors, please. So I got several mentors. One of them, Captain Jeff Berry for Southwest Airlines. At the time, he was actually one of my first flight school instructors. Black guy, I got to mention that because that's actually important. So anyway, now Captain Jeff Berry, then Lieutenant Jeff Berry, I think he got out and got into reserves and then got to high by Southwest. He was like, hey, you need to consider getting out at this point and, coming to the airlines. At that time, I didn't have the flying hours resume to be competitive in order to come out and fly the airlines. So I knew I needed to stay in. Also, at that point, I was gearing up for a full active duty retirement. So 20 years, full pension, which is the military has changed that pension where you get a continuous check. Now it's like a fund that you pay into, but full pension benefits, medical, dental, all that stuff. I was like, that's a little bit more beneficial for me for retirement. But if you look at, how much money I would have made had I been in the airlines, 10 years ago, if I had gotten in versus now, and you just do a little calculation of, your time spent. But, I got to United, hired in 2018. So that was, 5 years ago, going on 5 years ago now. I got about, right now, the mandatory retirement age is 65. So I got about 18 years to go as a captain. So, and I have a constant, pension and other from the military every first of the month for the rest of my life. So I can say that's not bad, considering that so retiring from the military was definitely the way to go for me. Doing the 20 years, I got friends now who have been in for 25, 30 years, and they're commanders now, they're captains now, commanders of squadron ships and doing big things. Some could be admirals, one day, and they're well on their way. But everybody has their own path about how they want to do it. Mine was to get the 20, get out, go to the airlines, realize my dream of becoming an airline captain, which has materialized, and the rest is history.
Congratulations!
Thank you very much.
That's a new title, like within 2023, right?
Yeah. Let's see. Count to carry the 3 weeks.
Hold on. This is for you. I'm proud of you. I am.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm very proud of you. So now I've got to ask. First of all, I do want to acknowledge Stephanie Grant. She was on the show. Very,
Yeah.
very, very good friend to the
Yes.
show. She was here a couple of weeks ago,
Shout out
and
to Stephanie Grant.
yeah, she's in the building. So hold on, I'm sorry. So now, listening to all of the work that you've done in the Navy, your dedication speaks for itself, and we all appreciate your service. And you just pretty much rolled right into your active role. Well, not the captain role, but you rolled right into the United Airlines job. When are you going to take a break? I mean, are you single? Are you married? How does this look on your real personal life?
So I am single,
Hello.
by choice currently. Had a couple relationships. To quote the Roots song, sometimes relationships go ill. So whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I've taken time out for my career, and we got to let the dust settle for that. But there's open opportunity for other activity, which is welcome as that comes, that suits my lifestyle and my ways of doing things. So that's there, but I don't really think about that. I just kind of do my thing. I'm enjoying flying. And now that I've become a captain, the convention of it is I'm actually going to be working probably a little bit more because of how the seniority works. So as a first officer, I was, relatively more senior in my position in the aircraft. So I'm based in Newark, New Jersey. For those who fly to Newark, New Jersey, if you fly to Newark on United, look in the front of the aircraft. I could be there. Anyway, so
Tasha
I was a little bit more senior. So I was getting 18 days off a month, 18, 19 days off a month. I was getting all the holidays I wanted. Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, it didn't matter. I was getting all the days off. Whatever, July 4th. I was going to Essence festivals. I was going to, Mardi Gras. I was doing all that stuff, and having a great time. Now that I've upgraded to captain, I've become more junior. So I'm at the bottom of the list. So my days off now are truncated. Now it's like, 9 to 12 days off. Now I'm working weekends. Now I'm working all the holidays. So I told all my friends, don't look for me this year at all. Don't call me. Tell me you're going to Essence, you're trying to ride out. I'm like, no, don't. I'm gone. So it's a sacrifice, but the sacrifice is something that I've looked forward to. It's a huge responsibility, and I want to kind of talk about that because that's important. A lot of questions that I've gotten asked, but one particular question about that people don't understand about aviation. I have to explain this because it's important. What it means to be a captain in the airlines. And so if you look at pilots, all right, in an aircraft that I fly, which is a Boeing 737, all right, carries about 200 people, flies about 41,000 feet, about 540 miles per hour, just to give you the stats, the little stat card. Anyway, two pilots. You have on the right seat, you have a first officer. On the left seat, you have a captain. When you get hired by the airlines, you are trained basically the same. You're both flying pilots. You know how to pilot the aircraft, standard SOPs, emergency procedures, things of aviation. You're both pilots. The main difference between the first officer and the captain is the captain is the person that is ultimately responsible for everything that happens on that jet from the gate that you depart from and to the gate that you come back to or go, that you arrive at. So the responsibility is huge. Responsibility and accountability is humongous. The first officer is the first advisor or backup to that captain. So that person is trained and skilled in the same thing. So if something should happen to the captain, God's will, that first officer becomes the next person in command, next in command. So the jump in pay, the jump in responsibility, everything is, commensurate with what the captain has to do. And, I get a little bit more tired now because the responsibility is on me because I have to worry about, the fuel. I'd have to worry about it before, but now the decisions that I make directly have an impact. Whereas I was an advisor, the captain would say, hey, how much fuel do you think? You think the fuel is good? You see the weather. What do you think? We need to add more fuel or, should we take a different route? Now I'm the person taking the input from my crew and taking all that into consideration and making the decision. So nothing happens on the aircraft. Nothing happens on the aircraft without the captain's authority. And the captain has a very, very great authority that is bestowed upon him. So when the airline and the FAA signs off on your certification, they are saying that you are a competent authority to pilot this aircraft through its entire evolution, day to day. So it's a great, great responsibility.
So when you crossed over from first officer to captain, where did you fly? What was your first flight route?
So the first actual flight. So the process of what we call upgrading to captain. The process is you go through a leadership course, which is a few days. You graduate the leadership course, then you go through your training course, which is about 2 weeks for me. It was. And then you go on I would say on-the-job training, which is at a minimum of 25 hours of actually flying passengers. So you're in the left seat, you wear the stripes, you wear the bars, and on the right seat, you have another captain who is an instructor who rides with you as an advisor. So you guys, the two people, they talk about certain things, but you're doing your actual captain duties. This captain here is to make sure that what you learned is what you're doing and you're competent. At the end of that evolution, the last flight, what we call a check ride, that captain is basically acting as a competent first officer. They are now not there to guide you, give you instruction. Now, they'll be competent. They're not going to let you sink. They'll do exactly what they need to do. But now they're watching you, and they're evaluating your decision-making. They're evaluating your flying, evaluating how you, react with the flight attendants. And by the way, the term is flight attendants, not stewardess. Let's get rid of that, everybody who's watching. So with the flight attendants, with the gate agents, with the customer service representatives, are you keeping dispatching forms? How are your decision-making skills? You are now a manager. So basically that's what it is. A captain is a manager. So that person at the end of that flight is saying, you know what? I'm signing you off. You've done a good job. Congratulations, Captain. You are now, officially able to sign my name on the line and say, hey, I signed for this flight, for this day as a captain. So to go back to your question, my first flight, which is interesting, I flew with a relatively new first officer. And my first flight was New York to Mexico City. 6 hours and change with a new first officer, very competent, and we had a blast. I actually posted a couple pictures on Facebook. Shout out to Juan, who lives in Tampa,
Nice.
Florida. We had a great time. He was very competent. So that made my flight a little bit easier because I didn't have to worry about the guy or girl, the guy sitting next to me as a new captain. We're both competent. I'm fresh out of school. He's been on the job for about a year. Competent, very proficient, professional person. So we both know the plane, we both know the jet, we both know what we're doing. But as a new captain, you're nervous. Some things. You
have like bubble guts.
I didn't have bubble guts. I keep a Imodium AD with me. You know what I'm saying? I keep that.
What'd you smell like? What did you smell
What
like
I smell
for your
like?
first flight?
I don't know. I probably threw on some Louis Vuitton or something like that. I'm not sure.
Like, what do
sometimes
you smell like right now in this moment with this crisp white suit?
Oh, it's probably just some
fresh hair, shiny forehead,
it's
glowing.
Probably Harry's body wash and a little bit of old Spice deodorant. Shout out to Dion Cole.
Let me smell your neck. Just do this. Smell your neck. Let me smell your neck. Okay. All right. Sorry. Go back to the first flight. Okay. How many people on the flight? You said 400 on the plane?
No, not that big. 200.
Oh, 200. Okay. Okay.
189.
So when you landed
Mexico City.
New York to Mexico City. So when you landed, did you take like this, like, I did that.
So here's the thing that people always ask me, and I'm going to answer this question because I get it a lot. Are you nervous? Are you scared? Do you think about dying? All your passengers in the back. So the thing about aviators and pilots and people in professional capacities that have lives at their hands are trained to a T. So my training is what is the forefront of how I operate my aircraft. So I don't not think about the people that I have in back, but what I am doing is what I am trained to do. So when something unordinary or an emergency happens, the instinct is to do what's in the book. And if something is outside of that, the competence of me being an aviator with experience and knowing if there's something that I need to do differently, what can I do? And by the way, I have another person sitting right next to me who is of equal competence. What can we do to make this situation right?
Have you experienced, you know, in your time being not only captain but first officer and captain, have you experienced anything interesting, colorful?
I've had some what you would call emergencies while flying in the Navy. I have not had any adversity flying with United thus far. And the composition of that was I had a couple of times we had to land with only 3 engines. But on a C-130, you have 4 engines. So landing with 3, depending on which engine has degraded performance, could be a bigger deal, but it's got 3 other engines. So it's not the worst thing going. It depends on when that happens. You lose an engine on takeoff, it can be more crucial because you're low.
This is in the Navy, not in.
I've had a couple in the Navy. I've had a couple of those. I've had to fly 3 engine a couple of times. I had a wind screen get cracked. I had smoke in the cockpit once where we had to do an emergency descent, put on the gas mask. I've had that.
I remember when I called you. I called you one time. There was a plane trying to land, a private plane trying to land, and the front brake was out. And I was like, Chris, what's going on with the plane? And everybody, when I tell you, he went from being my friend that I'm calling to talk about something to straight into professional. He was like, well, I need to know. But I was like, boy, did you just change your voice? It's me, Tosh. He's like, well, I mean, you're calling me and you're asking me about an aircraft. And, you know, I'm not competent in saying what's going on unless I know. And as a pilot, I was like, God damn it. Like, I just want my friend to tell me what the hell is going on with this plane. He goes, well, right now I'm driving.
You got technical, Chris, at that point. Put on my work voice. I leave the South Memphis voice at home, so put on the work voice. Wait
a minute. Wait. Okay, before I get to the questions, because right now my boy, I just want to, like, everybody. Don't you just want to loosen his tie a little bit? Like, Chris, we're chill over here, baby. We got you. So I just want to
looking uptight. Do I look uptight? I'm sorry.
No.
It's okay. You're so silly. You're so silly.
You look fantastic. Whew. Don't you ever ask me how you look again. Thanks. Chris, did we lose him? Is he frozen?
No, I'm still here. I'm just, robot mode. No, I'm here.
That's my show, everybody. Good night. So let me ask you a question. I forgot what I was about to do. Hold on. Everybody, thank you so much for joining. If you have just walked in here, this is Christopher Saffold. He is a United Airlines captain. This is Captain Christopher Saffold. He is a lieutenant. Run me that title again.
I am a retired lieutenant commander of the U.S. Navy. You can say it that way. If it's written, it'll look like Lieutenant Commander, U.S. Navy, retired.
Well, I have here retired Lieutenant Commander of the U.S. Navy. I have that.
That's fine. You can say that.
Oh, okay. And currently,
but can you say that, though? Can you say that, though? Because you had a little trouble earlier as I was watching.
Baby, I can say whatever you want me to say. You want to give me a line read?
Stop tripping. Look, when I come to LA, lunch, we'll have lunch.
Okay.
Lunch on me. Lunch on me.
So everybody, thank you for being here. And Chris is amazing. He definitely is a personal friend of mine, so never mind our banter here. But his story is really unbelievable. He hails from Memphis, Tennessee. So shout out to everybody from the Memphis, or the whole entire state of Tennessee. And shout out to everybody that is in here. Shout out to all of Chris's friends, colleagues, family members that have come in here to watch the show. I appreciate you so much for being here. And shout out to all of the Natasha Simona Sequence Tasha troops that's in the building. There are some questions that people have submitted, but something clicked to me earlier today after our conversation. I said, oh my God, Chris's birthday is in March and we're at the bottom of March. Chris, did I miss your birthday?
It's at the end of February, but thank you for thinking, though. I appreciate that. The fact that you even, were able to grab that much says a lot. It's very end of February. It's 27th, so beginning of March, end of February.
I completely missed your birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. How old are you?
I am 47 years old.
Someone asked me how old you are, and I said 45.
Close. I'm 47.
How did 47 happen so quickly? When I met you, you had turned 40 that year. That's crazy.
About right. That sounds about right.
Our story is quite the story that should probably go in a book somewhere.
Yeah, you write it. I'll be there. I'll be at the bookstore. Give me my signed copy, please. Can I give a shout out?
Please.
To my rock, my mom and dad. They've been there since day one. Boot camp, graduation from my tech school, graduation from college, commissioning, got my wings in flight school. My dad and mom been there for that. My retirement from the Navy, and upgraded captain. They've been at every single function, every single time. They are my rock, solid foundation, my family. My mom, dad, and my younger brother. So just a shout out to them and all my friends. They've supported me. My retirement was a kick-ass party in New Orleans.
I know. I wish I was there.
Yeah, you missed that one, homie. That was, anyway, we had a very good time. But yeah, I just wanted to acknowledge, all my friends from high school, the family. There are a few of them watching. I got a lot of pilot friends. We talked about this earlier. Some of them are actually still single, and they are eligible, and they are handsome guys, and they are smartest dudes I know.
Why haven't you ever hooked me up with them?
What's that? I missed that.
Why haven't you ever?
I don't know, but there's some of them in Texas, some of them in DC, some of them are in Cali, Chicago.
Are they in the room? Are they in the room?
Are they in the room? I don't know if they're in the room. They might be. A couple of them might be. I don't know. But hey, we get reach back. You got contact info, hey, we can. But they gotta be fired though, because they bringing it. So they gotta, whoever comes, they gotta bring it. These aren't second class guys. We talking about, war heroes.
Oh my God. So I'm going to ask a couple of questions. I see the comments, everybody. Trust me, that's on the top of my brain. I definitely want him to do that.
All right, back official. Here we go. Back official.
No. So first question, why haven't you... Okay, hold on. That wasn't the first question. First question, is he contemplating writing a book? Very interesting stuff. And I guess are you thinking about writing a book of some sort?
The first answer to that is no. I've got a story, and let me just give a shout out to a lot of aviators who have a similar path. There's a lot of us. African American aviators are 2.2% of the workforce of all pilots. Okay, I had some statistics up here, but my computer has gone to sleep. There's 96.6 male, 3.4% ladies in the whole force. And African Americans make up only 2.2% of that. 84.6% is white, Hispanic 5.2%, Asian 2.5%, American Indian and Alaskan 0.3%. So there's a lot of us, brown folk who have stories, and you can see them all over. Just like you had Miss Grant, on there before. So there's a lot of us who have stories, and they're very similar because of our aspirations and what we wanted to do to get here. So I don't see myself writing a book now. Although I am very humbled to be here, I don't consider myself a special case and that I could showcase myself in pages. Now, have I had an interest in life? Yeah, especially being a Navy traveler and, some stuff, some things I might have to leave out of the book. I don't know. But I'm just saying, right now, there are no plans to write a book. Does that answer the question?
Yes. The next question is, can you ask him his thoughts on the captain that got sick in flight and the pilot from another airline that had to assist in landing the plane? Are you familiar with any of these stories?
I am vaguely familiar. I cannot give any specific accounts or details because I don't have what we call what would be written in a mishap. An aviation mishap is what the NTSB, National Transportation Safety Board, they come out when anything happens on an aircraft. They come out with findings. All right, these findings are very conclusive. It's very specific. So I don't have that. So I cannot give any specific account or details because I'm not the authority that can do that. I've only heard things, from media outlets that I've had. But I can tell you in a general sense that Congress, or there has been accounts of them trying to go single pilot in the airlines, okay, in aviation. Obviously, the pilot force is against that for obvious reasons, for situations like that. Can one person fly the plane? Yes, that is entirely possible. Is it the safest situation? In my professional opinion, it is not. Because when things are fine and going well, it's okay. When things are not, sometimes it's really not. And having a second competent person there is a huge deal, because you got weather. You can have weather that can go, poorly. And if you're combating that with an emergency, there's a lot of things going on. You're talking to air traffic control. You're trying to keep the flight attendants aware of what's going on. And you're also trying to talk to your dispatch and to other authorities on the ground so you can have all your support. So the communication in itself is huge. Okay, that's the communication, because what we like to say is a convention, we say 2 out, 2 in. So 2 out meaning air traffic control, dispatch. 2 in, am I advising my flight attendants? Am I talking with my pilot, my co-pilot? So that's 4 pieces of communication right there. We're not even talking about flying the plane. All right. So then there's flying the plane. Just flying the plane, making sure you keep the blue side up. There's an instrument in the plane that tells, blue is up, brown is down, right? So make sure that you're keeping the aircraft flying the right way. The other part of that is handling the emergency. We have emergency procedures. Some of them are immediate. Some of them are what we call deferred, where it doesn't require immediate action items, or something that you do what we call from memory. So all of that stuff are things that you have to consider, when flying an aircraft. And when something happens, when you have 2 pilots, it's doubly, the redundancy of personnel helps a lot better with that. In that case, generally speaking, captain becomes incapacitated. You have the first officer who is competent enough to handle. I don't know where the other pilot came from. If he or she was a pilot that was what we call non-revenue traveling, jump seating, commuting or going somewhere, and they were called up to the flight deck, or if they were actually in the flight deck jump seat. So if you're in the flight deck jump seat, pilots are now the only personnel allowed to sit in the flight deck jump seat after September 11th, different security procedures and rules and things like that. They used to let flight attendants jump seat in the flight deck. Now that since September 11th, that's over. So as a competent pilot, if I'm sitting on someone's jump seat, the brief that pilots always give, the captain give, you're a competent authority. If you see something out of ordinary, say something. You're an extra set of eyes and ears that can help in the event that something happens and we need your assistance. So I don't know particularly if that was what happened with that crew, if that person was on the jump seat, or if they called them up from the rear to come up. But that can completely happen, because anytime we ride on someone else's aircraft, we go ask the captain as courtesy, Captain, my name is Captain Saffold. I'd like to, ride on your jump seat today from
no.
New Jersey.
Can you say that in like airplane? Yeah, say that differently.
Like Captain Saffold. Was that good enough? Okay. So yeah. So does that help answer that question though?
You're so detailed. Like you've answered and given. You
Well,
should
yeah.
probably. You really. I love how detailed you are. Like you don't
That was
skip over
the Navy.
anything.
That was the Navy. The Navy, giving briefs and doing things like this that taught me that. So, hey, you got an audience. Somebody asks a question. First of all, when I talk to kids at schools all the time, by the way. I'm going tomorrow morning to talk to a friend's school at 6:45 a.m. I'll be there. Anyway,
You want to come talk to my kid's school?
yeah, I have no problem with it. So,
Career day is coming
I
up.
do it all the time. So somebody asks a question. Stand up. State your name. State your question so the audience can hear you. I'm going to repeat your question to confirm two-way communication. Was that your question? Okay, great. I answer the question. At the end of the question, does that answer your question? Great. Now we move on. So that's how you do that. It's close the loop on the communication.
Yes, sir.
And that's
Yeah,
what I
Chris.
teach kids. Like, hey, communication is huge. So my
Are you okay answering a couple of more questions?
sure. I got as much time as you have. Like, I'm here for you. So
Thank you. I
sure.
appreciate you so much. You owe me that time.
I
Thanks.
do. I do owe you that time. I appreciate you though. This is two-way. You know. So what's the question?
The next question is why haven't you responded to his invite to lunch? He said lunch on him. We know you're blushing. Chris, the next time you fly to California, I will clear my schedule and I will meet you.
I'll let you know.
Absolutely.
I will absolutely let you know.
It would be great to see you. It's been a while.
It'd be great to see the boys. I've seen them grown. That's awesome. That makes me feel real old, but whatever. They're tall.
You'll be shocked. You would be.
Yeah.
Next question. Will he be at Newark Airport this weekend? If so, what gate?
The answer to that question is there's a high probability that I will be at Newark Airport. Gate, flight unknown. I am now on reserve, on call. So I sit by the phone and wait for scheduling to say, hey, Captain Saffold, we need you for a flight that will be leaving X time, X gate. And then I go to work. Well, I sit back and, study, read, watch, TV, whatever it is I'm doing, and hang out. So the answer is yes. I just don't know when or where.
It was a joke question, Chris.
I know, but I'm just saying, somebody want to
So
show
serious.
up and you got a TSA pre-check, you meet me at gate Charlie 137. I'm just joking.
Baby, I have. How safe is flying compared to riding in an airplane?
Say that one more time.
How safe is flying? Okay, I'm going to read it directly.
Yeah, because
I
heard it, but I want you to hear what you just asked me.
Yeah. I don't have my glasses on. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, I understand.
How safe is flying compared to riding in a car?
Right. You said how safe is flying compared to riding an airplane at first. That's why I had to have you repeat that. Okay.
Thank you.
So I don't have any statistics for automobile accidents and aircraft accidents. I'll tell you, aviation is very safe, but the composition of you're riding in a machine. You have human error, you have environmental error. So, but the probability of things going wrong are very low. I can't give you that number specifically.
Got it.
And I do apologize about that. I mean, riding here in a car in Memphis, Tennessee, and I know LA too, your probability of getting into an accident is really, really, really high.
Yes.
My head is on swivel when I'm in a car, much more worried about what's going to happen to my car going to the airport, especially at 2 o'clock in the morning sometimes, the dangers of that, more so that I'm concerned with my aircraft, because I know the aircraft mechanics, these planes are flying constantly. You know, they're always flying. The mechanics, they're always doing their due diligence.
Okay.
And just the competent people that I'm with, I don't have any concerns. You know,
That's
I mean,
good.
it is a machine though. It's a machine. So, you know, things can happen, but you know, we are trained professionals to handle adversity in time of you know, in time of need. So yeah,
All right,
air travel, safe. Yeah,
let's get a little personal here.
sure.
You like to
I don't know
eat.
what that means, but sure.
You, you like fine dining. You like to eat.
Oh, I love fine dining. Absolutely. Look, let me
But
tell
you
you.
you also love to
Um,
cook.
I cook a little bit. I'm not a chef. All right, let's just get that straight. I cook what I like to eat, and I do pretty good with it.
Everybody,
But I
I
love
gotta
fine
cut you
dining.
off because you are definitely everybody. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you all something. It's gonna make him blush. You ready for it? I, ladies, y'all know, and I was in a moment, and all I wanted was red meat. I wanted a good steak, and I wanted red wine. And, and after a long day, I get a phone call, and Chris says, "I've got dinner," and I'm like, "Okay, what does that mean?" And he's like, get the kids to bed, and you got your red wine and your steak. So I thought I was gonna go to one of these restaurants, and when I tell you that was the best steak I have had ever, and I don't remember the wine, but your cooking, I've had your grilled cooking, I've had your cooking, you are
You have been
you're amazing in the kitchen.
you have been privileged. You have been privileged to have that. Steak is one of my favorites. Steak and seafood are one of my favorites, and grilling are one of my favorite activities. So yeah, fine dining. I will spare no expense to go have a wonderful meal. I had a friend who was in town last night, and we went to a great restaurant in Memphis, Porch and Parlor, which I had not been to, and I had these bacon appetizers, which these very good, you know, exquisite, you know, pieces of cooked bacon, and then I had three-ounce pieces of beef, American, Australian, and Japanese. Fantastic meal, and you know, I had some nice single malt whiskey to go with that. You know, I'm
Hmm.
a big whiskey bourbon fan, huge. I like Japanese whiskeys. I got a $3,000 bottle of Japanese whiskey I have not even opened
You
on my
you waiting
shelf
for that
right now.
special date?
I don't know what I'm waiting on for that. Yeah, that's a particular special date. And so
When do you
far, everything,
when do you
you
think you're
know,
gonna slow down
what you mean? I
and
don't
like
drive fast.
and dedicate just
I got no,
maybe
I got no speeding tickets.
dedicate some time to maybe open up to the dating world?
Well, you know, my time right now is dedicated to my mother and my father, my brother, and my family. I spend time with them, you know, because I'm home in Memphis now, and I would like to, you know, give as much time to my family as possible because that means really a lot to me.
Yeah.
That was that was that was an actual answer, but I mean, I was really blowing fluff at the question.
No, that
Uh,
was very
yeah,
nice. It
I was.
shows that you're a family man.
Well, I mean, I am. My family means a lot to me. But to be serious, the dating thing. Oh man. Yeah. I don't know. You know, whatever comes. You know, I might be 52 before I'm married. I could be 48. It could happen this year. I don't know. Dating is a really funny thing. It's a funny thing, you know, and I enjoy, you know, the company of friends and traveling, you know, whether it be my male friends or female friends and traveling. And that's really what makes me happy is having the company of like my good people around me. I throw get-togethers at home and stuff like that. And having those people around me is what really moves me. Because I grew up an only child, right? So I didn't have like an imaginary friend or whatever. But my parents moved around a lot, so I didn't have any consistent friends until the 6th grade. So the friends I have from the 6th grade are like my brothers that are with me today, who are probably some of them are watching. Shout out to them. So I've maintained that integrity of my friendship and keeping people around me, and being a good friend to them in times of need and just in times of social gathering. That's not to say that there's no room for a lady in my life. There is. I'm kind of particular too. I'm special. I think you know that. I think you know that. Special. That's all.
Everybody,
That's
welcome
all.
to the Natasha Simona Sequence. I appreciate you all so much for being here. Christopher Saffold is our guest this evening. We've learned so much about aviation, the Navy. We've learned technical details of the ins and outs of things we otherwise would not have learned. I'm so happy you all are very, very active in the chat, and shout out to everybody that is sitting back, relaxing, and watching the show and enjoying the chat and the conversation. Chris, I definitely want to say thank you for being here. This has been great. I do have one more question that popped up in the box. Tosh, what high school did he attend?
I attended the best public high school in Memphis, Tennessee. That is White Station High School. So many wonderful people have come from that high school. Yeah. So.
That's good. Do you go back to that school for speaking engagements?
I have not been back to White Station. I actually don't have any reach back in that school. Any schools that I've been to have been connections from friends that I have that are administrators, teachers in those schools. And strangely enough, I haven't had any reach back to White Station, which is funny because I actually live around the corner from the school. I'm sure I could go there and make that happen. I just haven't done it particularly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Someone asked how tall you are as we How tall are you?
I'm 69 inches. Quick math, anyone? 5 times 12 plus 9, 5'9". 69 inches.
You're 5'9"?
I'm 5'9", yeah.
Why do I always feel like I am shorter than you, but I always felt like I looked so far up.
Yeah, you're like what, 5'4"?
5'5".
Oh, okay.
So Chris, what's on your agenda in the coming weeks and the coming months? What are some of your high goals that you want to hit in 2023 that we all can support you on?
It's personal stuff. No, it's not personal. I can't share. It's personal things. Now that I have achieved a professional goal, to be quite honest, if you look behind me, my shelves are kind of bare, and so is my house. I just bought a new house in the summer of last year, and trying to furnish this bad boy has been quite a task.
How many bedrooms?
So 4.
Nice.
4 bedrooms. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4 bedrooms. One has been turned into a home theater, so 3 functional bedrooms.
Lovely. Can we? Okay. Can we? Before normally I like to take photos with my guests, so we'll do that in a second. But you have to give us the airline read. As your Captain Christopher Saffold on United flight number 22211. Can you give us one of those?
You want that? Oh, okay. Off the cuff, because I don't have any data in front of me, so everything I'm going to say is, just kind of off the cuff. Can't believe you're asking me to freestyle a captain brief. This is so funny.
Come on, you had to know this was coming. I have
to give a shout out to my one of my mentors, Captain Cedric Davis of Newark, New Jersey, 737 United. Give a shout out to him because he is the one, an organization for Black aerospace professionals. He is the one who coached me and getting into United. This man would call me. You probably don't remember. But this man would call me, and in the middle of doing anything. He's like, why do you want to work for United? I'm like, yo, I'm eating. He's like, okay, why do you want to work for United? I gave a spiel, not good enough. Call you back. Bam. So off the cuff, right there, had to spit it out. So I just have to give a shout out to him because that made me think of that, what you're doing to me right now. Anyway, without further delay, let's see. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome you to United Flight 111, services from New York to Mexico City. I'm your Captain Saffold speaking. I'm assisted by First Officer Rosio. And today we'll be taking you to Mexico City. In the back, we have flight attendants Bobby, Ricky, and Mike. They're here to assist you, but they are here for your safety. So please give them your undivided attention as they have a very important safety brief to give you today. Our flight time to Mexico City today is 6 hours and 30 minutes. We're expecting the weather en route to be pleasurable, so we'll try to get the seatbelt sign turned off for you as soon as possible. Current weather in Mexico City is light winds out of the southeast at 10 miles an hour. A few clouds at about 2,000 feet and 10 miles visibility. We hope you enjoy your flight today, and I'd like to give a special shout out to our customers who have given us our dedicated business. And once again, welcome to United, and we'll see you on the ground. Seatbelt sign on. The child. Boom.
So that was amazing.
Yeah.
Do you ever do any jokes? I know sometimes I'll get on flights and the captain will make a little joke here and there.
No. Okay, so I'm only on my third flight in, right? So the jokes, today is a very sensitive society, and I'm not to say that I can't have a humorous personality, but there is a time when if I have time to kind of loosen my tie and be a little more casual with my customers, I can. We had a delay for something, and so I actually gave the brief in the galley with the on the PA on the phone, and I was a little casual and cracked a couple of jokes. Sometimes, if I have the time, I will walk down the aisle and interface with a couple.
You get out of the cockpit.
Well, on the ground, yeah, not in flight, never. Never in flight. On the ground before we push back off the gate. I'll try to interface if I can. Say good morning, and definitely greet as many people as I can. Definitely give the salutations when people are leaving off. Thank you for flying United. Have a good day. Good evening. Things like that. But the jokes, there are some who do that. My personality for the casual comedic tone has not yet developed because I'm really trying to find my comfort zone and my briefs and just and how I'm making sure I'm doing the right things first.
Yeah.
So once I get the black and white and making sure that what I'm doing is safe and efficient,
mm-hmm.
then I will be able to loosen my tie and maybe find my grounds for having a little more comedic, relaxed tone. But right now it's kind of uptight, and I just kind of do what I need to do, to get the plane off get the jet off safely on time.
Do you like taking photos with passengers?
I have.
You?
I haven't had any since I was since I've been a captain, but I have taken photos in the flight deck with passengers, mostly kids, because a lot of parents like their kids to come up, and so we'll put the kids in the captain's seat, and we'll turn on the lights and let all the lights shine on the dials and everything, and we'll take the parents' phone and I'll turn around and do a cheese for the camera. So I've done that with kids. I had one grown dude once. He wanted a video. Actually, my last flight on my captain upgrade, a guy wanted a video in the flight deck. So we just did a very sterilized kind of right there with him sitting there. It was at the end of the flight. Kind of deal, very different from normal, especially because the dude was huge too, and that flight deck is not that large, so he was all in there hunched over and stuff. But to answer the question, I have, but usually people come in and they want to go sit down. So, but I'm all for it.
Okay, well, listen, I did not expect you to be here this long, so I want to thank you so much for your time and your energy and just everything. This has been hands down you're a guest favorite, honestly. Thank you, Chris. Hopefully one day I can be a passenger on one of your flights very soon. That would be fun.
It's actually possible. It just takes a little bit of coordination. It can happen. Eerie
okay,
silence.
so
Very awkward silence.
Let's take this photo. Everybody right now, I'm going to stop the comments. So if you're commenting right now, hold your comments. We're going to take a photo.
Photo. Cease. Well, you got to, hold on.
We're going to take this picture and put some lip gloss on. All right. Wow. You got no, you didn't just drop down. Okay. You got hydraulics. You got hydraulics on your seat and on the plane.
I do. I got hydraulics. Yeah, 3-wheel motion.
All right, you ready?
Ready? On the count of 3. You got it?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's do another pose. 1, 2, 3. What? You ready?
Hold on. Which side? Can I get it? You want me
to yeah, that's a nice one. No, do the other way. Yeah. The other way. Yeah. Thank you. What's your favorite color?
Blue.
Blue. Okay, comments are coming back on. Here we go. Favorite color is blue. Chris, you're amazing. People were asking if you had children, and I put in the comments that you didn't. I'm not sure what part of the conversation I had come in on, but this was a treat. You're definitely wonderful. I knew that you would be a crowd favorite. Hands down. I knew that.
Again, I appreciate you having me on. I'll watch your show. Your show is fantastic. You have some amazing guests on there. You're doing a wonderful thing. You know, personally, from me to you're doing it. Hats off, because we know. So anyway, congratulations to you.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. I do.
Hustle. Keep it going. Keep the party going.
You know the story.
I know the story.
I really appreciate you. Listen,
that's a book. That's a book. That's a book.
You have a chapter all to yourself. Boy, do y'all want to know that chapter?
Ooh, that's
on the next episode.
Is the air on in here? What is
this? No, listen, I'm just really proud of you. I really, really am. I'm excited for your life. I am. I was sad, you moved, and it's just one of those things. And so I do hope one day I can come and see the new digs and ride on your plane. I think that would be something really cool on a personal level, honestly. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Chris, it was a pleasure. I have not had this much fun with a personal guest friend of mine in a long time. So I want to say thank you. I know everyone here, I don't know if you saw all the blue hearts.
I did. Shout out to the blue hearts. Appreciate that, with the aircraft in between them as well, the jets. That was kind of cool. I've seen several comments as well. So
I want to say thank you to all of the entire room, the chat liners and the silent watchers who's here, all of Chris's people as well. Huh?
These comments are off the chain. I'm reading them as we have,
I wasn't sure if you were seeing them, but I was like, the comments are in shambles.
I saw a lot of stuff. So,
and I would love to invite you back. Maybe we can do a fun cooking segment with you, maybe a dating segment, maybe, 50 questions kind of thing. I don't know. I'm just thinking of fun ways to get you out of this uniform.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And if I can have a co-guest, I actually have a friend of mine who flies for Federal Express on the 767. He is actually here resting for his next flight.
He's here in your house?
Here. Just arrived.
Oh, go get him real quick.
He's probably asleep.
No, he's probably not.
He's probably asleep. He probably has to fly.
He's probably awake. That would be fun. Is he single?
He is not.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter. That would be fun. Man, single or not, that would have been fun. You dropped the ball. The ball.
We had a particular thing that we needed to do. Next time.
I know. But that's nice of you to host him. That's very nice.
Shout out. If you're up, comment. I think.
What's his name?
His name is Dwayne.
Wayne? Dwayne.
Dwayne.
Oh, Dwayne. Shout out to Dwayne. Shout out to all of the pilots in the building. That's fine. We can have him. Somebody said, that's so cool. Let him sleep, Tosh. He has a plane to fly. You're right.
Yeah,
We'll get him back now. And we're way over time. I know they're going to chew my head off.
Yeah.
But Chris, you're amazing. I thank you. You're welcome back here anytime. I know we talk often on different things. And so, Chris will be back. I promise you all, Chris will be back. And one day soon, hopefully, I can be a passenger on his plane. And I think that would be like a really fun tie-in to this moment.
That'd be cool. That'd be really cool.
Yes. Well, thank you. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Good evening to you.
Thank you, Chris.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye. Do you have any, that's it? So I just hang up. I just hang up from you and let you go.
I guess. Do I just hang up?
No, I don't know. I didn't know.
Goodbye.
I didn't know if you wanted to say anything else.
I'll say good night. I won't say goodbye. To quote Blackstreet. Don't say. I'm not gonna sing. I'm just gonna hit the X. Anyway, appreciate it.
I know.
All
right. I'll talk to you later.
All right.
Okay. Bye, Chris. Yeah. That was fun. That was fun. Christopher Saffold, ladies and gentlemen. The captain was here. And that's the show. That's the show, everybody. Thank you so much. Good night.